whatever you were gonna do. Cause it's time for Nick and the crew to tell you all the lore that you never knew about your favorite media, my dude. Stuff you're too lazy to look up. Nick and the boys gonna hook you up. From Halo and Batman to religious stuff. Lorecast is starting, so shut the hell up.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Lorecast. We're doing a more traditional style episode. I am joined again by Devin. It's been a minute since he's been on the podcast. Say hello, Devin.
Did y'all miss me? I mean, let's be real here. I mean, I'm always on Beetlecast and stuff, but I and you know I had to put that plug in there, Nick. I'm sorry. But
No,
I don't know.
okay.
Did the Lorecast crowd miss me? I mean, half your crew hates me. So, and Benny, Benny and I are cool, but it's just I just know that he finds me really sexy. So, it's completely off topic, unfortunately. I'm glad to be back, Nick.
Yeah. So if you've been listening to Lorecast lately, the beginning, the theme song for Lorecast was done by Devin and his beautiful vocals and fantastic guitar playing skills. And they've been scripted and more focused on one series lately. So it's a break from the new to get back to the old, and that's what I'm most excited for.
Me too. So, Nick, what are we talking about today, man? What is our subject?
I guess we could do some backstory of why we're talking about this, and we'll lead up to it. So, I played Kingdom Hearts 3 when it first came out, but then I didn't finish it until 2021. I won't say when because that'll date the video. I mean, it's already dated. I just said the date, but I didn't beat it until like a year or two after it came out. So, and I just beat it. I put in the chat. I said, "Hey, are there any other Kingdom Hearts fans out there? I just beat Kingdom Hearts 3." And Devin comes in with I'm the opposite of a fan if you want to talk about that.
It's true. It's so true.
So I'm a massive fan of Kingdom Hearts in general. I told Devin, and as I was writing this and recording it, I'm in my Kingdom Hearts pajama pants. And I have the Heartless symbol tattooed on me. So I might be a little bit biased in this little exchange here.
Well, they should also know my situation since we're talking about how we're dressed. I am wearing no pants, and I also have a Heartless symbol tattooed, but this is a family-friendly podcast, so I can't tell you where. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. About the tattoo. Wait, no, the pants too. Anyway.
Oh my gosh. So I wrote out some talking points. We don't have to stick to it exactly because we're going by the Beetlecast formula, which is F it, we'll do it live.
Yeah, boy.
So I do have some talking points, but if Devin wants to jump in, he's going to. So don't if you're a new listener who's been listening to just the new stuff, it's going to be different. You go back and listen to the old stuff to listen to the new stuff, and it'll make a little bit more sense, I suppose. So the first thing and the one thing that stuck out to me because Devin said the writing sucks, and that's the first talking point that I have down here. So I'll be the first to admit the writing isn't coherent. I'll be the first one to tell you it's a little bit esoteric, and you have to really dig in deep, and you better know what's being said at the beginning of each game. Otherwise, you're going to be lost throughout the entire series.
Yeah. So this is so incredibly problematic. I guess the thing that I want to say about it is that Kingdom Hearts could have been one of the greatest, and some people do consider it one of the greatest gaming franchises of all time. Those people are wrong, and they suck, and that's okay. Listen, it's not my place to tell you what to think or not think, but I am on a podcast, and you are listening to it, so I'm going to tell you what to think or not think. It could have been one of the greatest gaming franchises of all time, but I personally feel, Nick is not gonna is there's the chance of him disagreeing with me on this or like nil, right? That the problem is so look, you got Kingdom Hearts 1, right? Kingdom Hearts 1 is a very, very straightforward story, right?
It's very good. I love the first one makes sense.
Yeah, like they're on an island, they got shit to do, like I'm sorry about the language. Please beat me.
No, it's I've been it's fine. It's old lore cast. We're good.
Okay. But they got stuff to do and they go through their adventure and that's fine. And then so the first one was a great game. And all the tie-ins and stuff like that was really cool. It was really novel at the time. A lot of people really like Final Fantasy, which by the way, I just started my first Final Fantasy game, which is 4. Actually, my friend told me to start with 4. And so I'm starting with 4 and I'm in it right now. And the only thing about it is it's kind of obnoxiously hard, but besides that, it's a really good JRPG as far as I can tell. But there's a lot of
I like it.
There's a lot of like massive fans of Final Fantasy. So like it's like perfect. The first one is perfect. The first one is great. But then coming from a layman who hasn't played all of the sequels, that you have to like have an advanced degree in trigonometry to understand. It's like, okay, there's this dude who kind of, looks like Sora's, right? Or Sora, and he kind of looks like him, but he's not him. And then there's a computer simulation, and then there's all this stuff going on, but they're still Disney characters. And then he's like 27 scenes, they're eating a popsicle, but minor little tiny things are changing in the thing while they're eating the popsicle. And the popsicle comes back in the freaking third one. And it's like, okay, we're in the Matrix, but why are we in the Matrix? Why is Pooh in the Matrix? Mickey Mouse, he didn't even show up for like most of the second game, I think, or the third game. He was gone, like off into nothingness. And they're like, okay, well, we'll see Mickey later. Goofy, okay, Donald was like the best companion you could have in the first and second, and the third he was completely nerfed. I mean, like it, it was ridiculous. And the thing is, the worst offender is okay. So take another great kind of trilogy of kind of group of games. Okay, so let's take the Elder Scrolls, right? So starting from Morrowind, because the other ones really don't count. Starting from Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim. Those games, the continuity makes sense. You know why? Because they didn't have to release 27 comics, 56 games with... There's like long division in the freaking titles. Like the titles of these Kingdom Hearts games are like... It's like, guys, seriously, go get one of these collections. I got it for Tatiana, okay? The collection, go get it.
Yeah, the 1.5 and 2.5.
Yeah. It's like the freaking names of these games sound like new iPhones. Okay, they're like it's like Kingdom Hearts 1.5 Remix Pro Max. Like it's like, dude, what in the world are you guys doing? And then they have games like, because you got to understand that like consoles get phased out, right? So if you have a game explaining where Roxas comes from, right, and it's
favorite character.
Yeah, and
it's my favorite character. I love Roxas.
Yeah, Roxas is great, but it's explaining it, and it's on the Game Boy Advance, and there's no way to get that game after the Game Boy Advance is phased out, right? But it's essential to understand the convoluted plot that makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Then
so they remade it.
Yeah, that's what they had to do, right? But like
they've remade it 4 times now, 3 times,
and it's still.
Yeah.
And so it's like they couldn't even have the decency to like give them a good naming convention that kind of makes sense. Like it's just like, you guys, it could have been Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then the final Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Final Hearts, okay, or whatever. Pro Max S.
Final Heart of Kingdom.
The Heart of the Kingdom. Okay, yeah, exactly. Or like give them subtitles. You know what I mean? Like, what's the subtitle on that one? It's like 52 over 3 days of the week.
Yeah.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Wednesday, Thursday. Like it's Ridiculous.
That's kind of like how my second point is, though.
Let's hear it.
So most people, whenever, like, even when I was a kid, you think you go from Kingdom Hearts 1 to Kingdom Hearts 2. That's incorrect. If you go straight from 1 to 2, you're gonna miss out, because Kingdom Hearts 1 is straightforward. You're trying to collect the Princesses of Light. We're getting into lore now, finally. So lore alert. We're getting into the lore finally. So the first one, they're trying to get the 7 Princesses of Light. That's where the Disney princesses come in. There's this guy who's bad, and he's trying to collect them all so he can unleash Kingdom Hearts. So that's the first one. You have your friend, and he turns bad. That's the main thing, and you bring him back, and it's really straightforward. Then, if you go to 2, Sora wakes up in a chamber, and there's this blonde-headed chick, and you're going, who is this? Why is in the opening credits he's running up some stairs? What stairs is this? Who are these pink-haired people in black hoods? Well, that's because you had to have played Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, which is the actual second one. And then if you play 2 and you're like, who's this Roxas guy? Well, you had to have played Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. And then you play Kingdom Hearts 2. So you play 1, Chain of Memories, 358 over 2 days, and then 2. And then you have to play Kingdom Hearts Recoded, and then Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, which is a prequel, which explains why Roxas looks like Ventus and Vanitas looks like Sora, and who this Xehanort guy is, who I'm starting to get. Now that I'm saying it out loud,
yeah. Guys, all of this, so that you could experience Toy Story in 3D. That's okay.
Yes.
So you could talk to a voice actor that sounds a lot like Tom Hanks, but isn't Tom Hanks.
Yeah, it's his brother.
in Tom Hanks land, Toy Story land, okay?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you, Nick. I would go to Tom Hanks land, okay, my dude. I would get COVID, but I would go, okay? But so that's the thing, though, is like, so it almost seems like they were just like somebody at Disney. They called up, Square Enix or whatever, and they were like, hey, guys, look, check it out. You're going to make a game. It's going to be a relentless, shameless plug. I'm literally holding my phone up to my head right now, by the way. It's a shameless plug. But then what happens is they make it, and it's a hit. And then Disney's like, okay, we'll make another one. And they're like, okay, but the problem is we kind of had a cut and dry story in the first one. Like, like it makes sense. Like, everything makes sense. And Disney's like, yeah, see, that's the problem. Is it makes sense.
Oh my gosh.
And so
you're actually really not far off of how it actually happened. So Disney Japan and Square Enix shared the same office building, and so an executive from Disney Japan and an executive from Square Enix got on the elevator together, and they started talking about mashing the two together. And that's how you get Kingdom Hearts to be born. That's why you have Disney characters and you have Final Fantasy characters. Although they're not in the third one. I realize there's like, until you get to the DLC, which I'm not in, but I read ahead a little bit. There's like no no Final Fantasy characters in the third one, which is actually like the 7th game or 8th game.
Well, because
9th game. The third one is actually the 9th game.
It originally went from being kind of a lighthearted crossover. In my opinion, It went from being a lighthearted crossover to blatant 100% advertising. Like they sold their soul to freaking Goofy, and he did his evil, and now Kingdom Hearts is sold out. And so but okay, look, Nick, everybody listen to this who knows anything about Kingdom Hearts, they only have one question, okay? And maybe you can answer it because you're such a big fan, because I don't know. Why is the ship called a gummy ship? It has nothing to do with gummies. What the hell? Why is it called that? And why is there even
I'll be honest. I don't know why it's called a gummy ship.
Here's what's funny about it. Neither do the people who made it. They just flipped a random words in a dictionary, and they're like, oh, gummy. Well, that sounds kind of cool. We're going to make the ship a gummy ship. What are we going to make it look like? We're going to make it look like one of Tesla's newest kind of things that they're coming out with. Elon Musk could have designed this piece of crap shit. Okay, that's what happened, and so the thing is though is I think eventually though what happened is they realized they didn't have much of a story, right? It was like, okay, well, so they got to 2. They did 2, right? They got to 2.
Yeah.
And they're like, there's not much of a story. It's kind of just like about this kid with a freaking weird sword. How does the Keyblade even do damage on something? It's a key, not a sword. It doesn't even have a sharp edge anyway. But they're like, we don't have a story. And they're like, well, just ram one in, you know? And then somebody was like, well, should it be like, you know, straightforward? Like, he loves the girl and she's really cool and they're all like, cool. But she has a crush on him, but he doesn't have a crush back because this is, you know, Japanese, and that's how everything in Japanese culture goes. There's always a girl with a crush and the guy who ignores it or doesn't know and is completely oblivious to it. And they're like, no. This is not that type of story. This is the type of story that you can only understand the ending if you get the freaking decoder ring and the box of Lucky Charms. Okay,
oh
like,
my gosh.
I'm just saying that's the only way.
The first one, well, they explain it in the first one, at least, because, okay, so now I'm going to sound like a freaking conspiracy theorist. 7 plus 7 equals 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7, the perfect number. But no, so speaking of 7, there's 7 Princesses of Light, and Kairi is one of them. They thought it was going to be like Wendy from Peter Pan, and they were like, no, she's not a princess. And he's like, Hook's like, why did I do this then? But so she's a princess of light. And so that's why they're not together, is because she's a princess. But so, well, they're not together in the end because they get separated. And that's when Chain of Memories happens, is Sora gets sent to Castle Oblivion. And you don't figure out it's Castle Oblivion and why the hooded people are there until 358 over 2 days where they're messing up. Okay. Or they're
you can hear Nick smile because my dude is explaining it, and even explaining it in perfectly logical terms makes no sense. We might as well be freaking reading the story backwards out of a book, because that's the
you do have to, because some games came out after, but they take place during or before one of the other games. Because I think it was like Kingdom Hearts 1 came out in 2002. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories came out in 2004, I think. 2005 was Kingdom Hearts 2, and then Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days came out in like 2000, probably 6, because it was on the DS. So it's probably somewhere in there.
Listen, and I can solve the entire problem for everybody. They're gonna get to the end. They're gonna make Kingdom Hearts 4, and at the end, it's gonna reveal that the Emperor was cloned. And he came back, and he was like, something dark side, and scrambled the entire timeline. Okay?
Well, have you read Harry Potter and the Cursed Child?
No,
I'm
not a fan of J.K. Rowling. I have.
Oh, okay.
Is the Emperor in it?
So, okay. Now, this is spoilers for the official 8th book of Harry Potter. For all you Harry Potter fans who say, no, it's not canon. She said it was canon. She put her stamp of approval on it. So the Cursed Child...
Well, hey, to be fair, we don't have to listen to what she said because she said trans people aren't canon. Okay, so...
I forgot about that.
Yeah, she's a little bit of a dirtbag.
Can you separate the work from the artist? The art from the artist?
I have a problem with that. There's some people that I make the attempt if what they do isn't like so if there's an artist who like robs somebody, like I'll still listen to their stuff, you know?
Okay, that makes sense.
But like people who like actively promote hate, like I'll give you an excellent example that I've talked about on Beatlecast. Is Phil Anselmo from Pantera is one of my favorite musicians of all time. But he said white power on stage. And did a zig hell. And so now I can't listen to Pantera. I won't listen to Pantera. H.P. Lovecraft, who created Cthulhu, is H.P. Lovecraft. And I know this is getting a little bit far off the thing, but just to make a point here, H.P. Lovecraft is one of the most racist people to ever publish a book. His cat was named something along the lines of Mr. Inward Man, right? Like it was
Oh my
he was a
gosh.
racist fool. He made stories that were made to look like monster stories, but they were actually talking about black people. He was a racist, and so I love H.P. Lovecraft. But you know what I use his book for now? To prop my window open. Okay?
Oh my gosh.
I should use
I
it
was
for
gonna say something
toilet
like
paper,
a
but
coaster.
I just don't want that on my skin. You know what I mean? Like, and I didn't know that. A lot of people don't know that about Lovecraft, but I actually,
Nope, I had no idea.
one of my best friends, if not my best friend, is he's mixed. You know what I mean? And he explained that to me one day, and I was like,
Yeah.
no way. And then he was like, go look it up, and I looked it up. Guys, everybody listening to this, go look it up. And once you hear about
Yeah.
H.P. Lovecraft and all that, tell me if you can separate the art from the artist. So
Okay.
there
Yeah.
there are trans people that I love with all of my heart, that I care very much about, and I want nothing but the best for. And the moment J.K. Rowling tried to imply that they are not what they are trying to be, what they want to be, that they are basically less than human, the moment that happened, J.K. Rowling for me was dead. And
Okay.
so anyway,
I can respect that.
yeah. The book by a certain douche called The Cursed Child that she said was canon so she could make money off of it. All right, I'm
Yeah.
listening.
Time travel was involved. The Voldemort, the Emperor, basically had a kid, right? With Bellatrix Lestrange and Harry Potter's child and Hermione's kid and Draco's kid go on a big old adventure. Only in their fourth year, though. They skip years 1 through 3 for Albus Severus Potter. And they go back to the past and stop this weird Voldemort in the past. They stop this weird love child in the past. And that's actually where Kingdom Hearts 3 ended up. And I was really upset whenever that started happening too, because time travel. The only people who have done time travel well, in my opinion, that I've seen, because I don't watch too much time travel stuff, was the MCU. And that's just because I think Kevin Feige, he's the guy who like looks over it. He's like, okay, make sure you don't mess it up. But Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, the 7th or 8th game, was the one that started introducing time travel. So yeah, the big baddie traveled through time and grabbed up all of his alternate selves and the corrupted hearts that he's taken over. So time travel got introduced, and I don't like it, but I brought some of my favorite characters back at least.
I'm sorry, just I know we're here to
go
talk
ahead.
about a certain thing, and I know I went off on that little rant earlier. I'm sorry, I'm very passionate about this subject. But I'm just gonna
That's
say
okay.
this now. Everybody who's listening to this, I want you to close your eyes, okay? You too, Nick. Close your eyes.
Okay, eyes closed.
And I want you to think about Voldemort straight up bopping Bellatrix Lestrange, okay? Like straight up just taking
Oh
care
my
of business, okay? On Bellatrix Lestrange. Right now. Just think about it, man. Just think about it.
I'm not.
That's
I'm-
what
I
you just
am.
did to
It's-
me. I was blissfully unaware of the plot of that story. I was innocent to the plot of
Oh
that
my
story. I never knew
I
that
spoiled you. I spoiled
that
you in a bad
Voldemort-
way.
I mean, you know, like, I mean, my dude doesn't even have a nose. Like, how does that even work? Well, the nose, obviously. Well,
It doesn't get in the way of.
I mean, you know, like, yuck. I mean, maybe it was no, because when he was Tom Riddle, when he was that handsome kid, Tom Riddle,
Yeah,
he was a kid.
yeah.
He was a teenager. So it had to have been like when he was an adult. After
It was when he was an adult, because this weird love child is in class, in class with, or a couple years older than Albus Severus Potter and Scorpio Malfoy.
he's got it. So he had to have been Voldy. He had to have been Voldy when he did it. And
Yep.
like it's just like
The Dark Lord version.
yeah, exactly, right? The snake version. Was it after he Okay, I'm sorry about that one.
Yeah. I'll bleep that
Yeah,
one.
thank you.
I'll
My bad.
put like a funny bird noise.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, or maybe like a Voldemort quote. Anyway, that'd be funny. Only I can live forever.
Oh my gosh! Or his weird noises that
Yeah,
he makes sometimes.
My point is though, was it after or before he got like resurrected from a cauldron of goo? You know what I mean?
I believe it was after, because she's only a few years older than the other boys.
That's disgusting. What is Bellatrix, girl? I mean, although to be fair, the woman who plays her is, married to.
Oh yeah,
he's married.
Or she was. I don't know. Are they still married?
Tim Burton.
I thought they got divorced.
Oh, did they?
Or separated? I don't know.
Point being, they both have bad taste.
Oh my gosh.
Not her. Not him. He has great taste. She's a babe.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Yeah, boy. But Marla. No, but God, I'm never gonna forgive you for that. I'm gonna give myself cranial surgery. I'm gonna take a Brillo pad and scrub the part of my brain that hurt that, because that's disgusting. Continue, please, with your heretical, canonical Kingdom Hearts, ergo Emperor Voldemort weirdness. Okay, look. The problem is that some stories, what they try to do is fix it with time travel. And the reason I know this is because I, myself, in one of my stories, Psychobabble, have attempted to fix it with time travel. And by the way, Psychobabble ended not too long after that, because we were like, man. So we were like, dude, that story was getting too convoluted. The moment we introduced time travel, we were like, this is a bad freaking idea. And so we canceled it. That's what they should have done with Kingdom Hearts. They're like, you know what, guys? This doesn't make sense to a normal person who doesn't have a year to get a doctorate, years to get a doctorate in it. Like, there should be professors of Kingdom Heartsology where he's like, well, Axel, right, was there from 2, and then he was in Chain of Memories, but he did the thing where they got out the thing, and he was sitting on the chair, and the thing happened, and then after that, it all went down. And our critical analysis of this is that Axel was actually the Emperor all along, and he was the love child of Bellatrix Lestrange and Voldemort. And then
that sounds like a new Lorecast series. No, it could be. I just realized everyone who does like a Kingdom Hearts video just like sits down and does it in one go and tries to be all, I'm gonna do the whole thing in 30 minutes. Well, if you break it down, it makes it a lot more complicated, but over a longer span of time. So therefore, I can go back in time and tell myself to do that instead of whatever Lorecast is.
That's already too convoluted, man.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I would genuinely maybe not want to do that, because I looked at how many hours I put in just Kingdom Hearts 3, and if I went back onto my PS2 and loaded up an old 70+ hour game, I would feel really bad, because that was when I was, that's when you're high school or below and you don't have anything to do.
You just got time.
Yeah. I'll just play Kingdom Hearts all weekend. Oh, what's that? I logged in 142 hours in Kingdom Hearts 1.
God, I miss those days.
Wow. I did too. Oh my gosh, I did too. They're coming back with the EMT classes. Although I'm about to be, at the time of this, I'm not married yet, but it will be in this year that this is being recorded. So look at when the date is. I don't want to say when it is, because
everybody please
future-proofing it.
Everybody please join me and congratulations for Nick, and the best of wishes for his upcoming union. I actually have privileged information, so I do know the date. So forget y'all.
You'll hear from old Lorecast where I say fiance to wife. So this is that weird year where everything's happening, but
it's going to be a good year.
Yeah.
Man.
I think for Lorecast, it'll be a pretty good year. For Beetle Milk and Beetlecast, it will be the Lorecast blessings. I do leave the link down below in every video, so click down there, people.
Well, if you listen to Beetlecast with the regularity you would know that I have Lorecast at the end of every single Beetlecast episode. All right? I put it in there because I have a little pre-recorded little outro that I do. And I just put it in there, and Lorecast is mentioned. And also we did an episode recently where we did a like a shout out to like indie artists and other people. And we also included Lorecast on that one. So we show the love too. We're out here, Nick. We're out here doing it. But getting back to the problem at hand, Kingdom Hearts and math is that I don't know, man. It's just it's the weird thing too, and I guess I should say this because I've been like pretty relentlessly bashing the game this entire time. But I should say that I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think that the quality is bad. I think actually a lot of the visuals and how they present stuff is actually beautiful. I mean, when the Toy Story, I brought up Toy Story earlier because the Toy Story world in 3, in my opinion, is mind blowing. It's just so cool.
And the Unreal Engine, it looks pretty good, and every character looks the best they've ever looked.
They do.
It's kind of like the older games and like the older Final Fantasies, like from 10 on, where they had the pre-recorded cutscenes.
Yeah.
And then it would jump back to these like very blocky textures. It's a little bit boggling, but then you come to this new one and it's all open world, all fluid. It goes from cutscene to gameplay just about seamlessly. I'm playing on the PS4, the first one, so it has a hard drive instead of an SSD, so it still does take a minute to load. But it is the most beautiful it's ever looked ever, I think. The cutscenes in the older ones look pretty good, but other than that,
yeah,
they're a bit, unless you play on the original consoles where you're playing GBA, going, man, this pixelated guy looks really intimidating if I could see.
Dude, I actually booted up one of the GBA games on Xbox, and it looked like it honestly looked like what's it called? Oh my god, there's a funny joke here. It looked like Picasso, man. It was all blocky and weird and nothing made sense. It was the one where like in the beginning, like old buddy and Goofy are walking down the road and then somebody attacks them and they like run off and like he's like, oh.
Yeah, that one's that's Chain of Memories.
Yeah, so Chain of Memories, that one. I still maintain that the evil person behind all of this is Goofy.
That's a theory.
You can't,
or Donald, because he never heals you. All he does is just thunder and lightning and then never helps you. He never heals you.
Donald's not smart enough to be an evil mastermind. Goofy is.
The only one to have a kid, just saying.
Yeah, and I mean him and Voldemort. You know what I mean? Like it's guys, just go ahead and get us in
and
your
the
head.
Emperor too.
And the Emperor has grandkids. Ray, spoiler alert.
Think about well, new timeline with the Mandalorian, please. Forget J.J. Abrams and Ryan Johnson land. Forget those three.
That would be so funny if they made that trilogy and just wiped them from the canon.
I would keep Rogue One. I like Rogue One.
Well, because they're talking about right now, like one of the going theories is that they're actually going to institute the Heir to the Empire canon, the Timothy Zahn canon with Thrawn, and so
Thrawn's been around since before. He was Legends, I think.
He's Legends now, yeah, because.
But now he's Legends and canon.
Yes, he crossed over.
They changed him.
Yeah,
he's one of the few.
Because he was in Rebels. But then in Mandalorian, Ahsoka, she's all like, "Where's Grand Admiral Thrawn, bro?"
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the videos of girls in the front row of a Beatles concert? Have you ever seen that?
Oh my gosh,
that was me.
Yeah.
Okay, when they said Grand Admiral, I was like,
oh my gosh,
they just said Thrawn. I was like, dude, my nerd, I was like Voldemort when he's hanging out with Bellatrix Lestrange, man. Like I was like,
that's the new joke for this episode. Oh, gross. That was me. That was me too. And I hate to say it, but I kind of got that way with Kingdom Hearts. With Kingdom Hearts 3, I got a little bit at the end of the game when they started. Okay, it got convoluted with all the characters, but I love all the characters, so I was pretty happy, to say the least. You can ask Sarah the actual levels of how happy I was.
Wow.
Yeah, oh no, that's not. No, oh my gosh, like that's okay. Yes, the writing is convoluted. Yes, you have to play every single game or you're going to be lost, and you had better watch a bunch of theory videos like I have. I've spent too much time in my life watching Kingdom Hearts videos, but that's when I like I said, there are too many characters. That's the next plot point. Only 35 minutes in and we're on talking point 3 out of I have like 7 here. But no, there are too many characters, but I also think for me it's like it's one big fanfic. So if the first one is a fanfic of throwing Disney and Final Fantasy characters, the last one is a fanfic of throwing throwing every character you've ever written into one story and having them one big it's basically the MCU but with Kingdom Hearts characters and the timeline it's the MCU. It's the MC the MCU. There's time travel, there's characters from the past.
The only difference though is you can watch Avengers movies
and it makes
and
sense.
it makes sense. You don't have to watch Hulk and Iron Man and all that good stuff.
Yeah, you can turn your brain off or keep it on for MCU. With Kingdom Hearts, if you're not paying attention, you're gonna go, what the hell? I just missed something. What was that? Who's this guy? Where'd they come
Tatiana,
from? And if you didn't watch,
what are you playing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm playing Kingdom Hearts 1,257 over over 529.2. And I'm like, oh, where did they hint this one? And it's like, oh, it was something that Goofy said in the second game. He said, the chances of us getting through this is 527,252 over.
Point 2 remix final.
And so now, it's a gosh, it's gonna be a Pro Max S version. And then you know, Mickey's like, huh? What the hell are you talking about, Goofy? He's like, I don't know, but I feel like the fans are gonna know one day. like honestly.
Yeah, they're not gonna find out until the last game. That's the next to last game, the 2.8. Okay, the 2.8 final or the no, 2.8 something. It's where Aqua from the prequels is trapped in the realm of darkness. So
yeah.
And it connects back to the beginning or the first game, because there's a scene. So kind of like how in Adventure Time season 5 episode 2, the Jake the dog. It's Finn the human, then Jake the dog. So there's a continuity error where they have the crown, and then Finn starts shaking up the ground, and then the nuclear bomb goes off anyway and releases the Lich. But if they see like Simon has the crown back, so they're like, well, if Finn has it, how could it be there on the ground and get blown up by the nuclear bomb? They go back in like 2 or 3 seasons later, and Prisma goes, oh, let me fix that real quick. Boop, boop. So they did that with this 2.8 final chapter before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. And because there's a scene when Mickey makes his grand appearance in the first one, it's in the end cutscene. You don't get to play as him or anything, but he shows up on the other side of Kingdom Hearts with Riku, and he's shirtless because Mickey Mouse before Kingdom Hearts 2 has been shirtless because he's just regular Mickey Mouse, because Mickey Mouse hasn't really had a shirt until recently, I guess. But they had to go back and show the Heartless like magically bling his shirt off. I was like, why? That was the weirdest part to me. I was like, what the heck?
Listen,
that's when it starts to get a little bit goofy for me. Was the next to last game. That's when it started to tip the scales for me.
does Mickey Mouse have nipples?
No, he does not.
Well, shame
In
on
the
them.
game.
Even Mario has nipples.
Oh, like that's right, from Odyssey.
From Odyssey, yeah, he's got nipples. Okay.
I know they have hands underneath. They made that weird joke in a Goofy movie where they like look under the gloves. They're like, ooh.
Oh yeah, it was Pauly Shore. You know, he's like, why do we always wear these glove
Yeah.
things?
And he looks at he's like, ooh.
The Leaning Tower of Chisa.
Oh my gosh, I love those. Those are
Yeah.
best movies. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, dude, Goofy movie rules. I'm saying, Goofy is our.
They should put that in Kingdom Hearts 4.
You know they should. They should
Yeah.
put Pauly Shore in there. They should have his character. What was his name in the thing?
Oh my gosh.
He had the glasses.
Oh
and
man,
stuff.
I forget. He's the one with the mohawk.
Yeah, the mohawk. And I'm saying
Mohawk earrings.
that would make sense because then what would happen is Sora would walk up to Pauly Shore, whatever his character name was, and he'd be like, Pauly Shore, what's all this mean? And Pauly Shore's like, well, nobody really knows, bro. But that's okay because we're all crazy boys. And then everybody's like,
yeah.
And then everybody's like,
then they start Kingdom Hearts over, so it goes from 4, and then at the end of Kingdom Hearts 4, they revert back to Kingdom Hearts 2023 or whatever. Because you know how they've been like re-releasing all these games, like it's no longer Halo 6, it's Halo Infinite.
Yeah,
it's no longer God of War 7, it's just God of War.
Doom Eternal.
But it's totally new. Yeah, Doom 2016 is completely different from the first Doom. So it's like, that's just re-releasing it. They're gonna do that with Kingdom Hearts 4. It's just gonna be Kingdom Hearts 4, and then you see an animator's hand scribble over, and he's like, because they're Japanese. He's like, Gome nasai, gome, and he just scribbles out the 4, and it's just Kingdom Hearts. And then everyone's like, what? And then Emperor's New Groove comes in because they haven't had that Disney movie yet. Yeah, that's how they do it. And yeah, because Emperor's New Groove, he comes in and he scribbles out and he circles himself. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's
A Pacha, A Sora.
I would play that. I would love it if they just came out and they were like, guys, look. And they're probably talking Japanese, that's fine. There's a translator. And they're like, guys, look, check it out. I know all of you want this stuff to make sense with Kingdom Hearts, but you got to understand that before every production meeting, we smoked mad crack.
Oh my gosh.
We got so blazed, and every idea that was put on the table, we did.
Just made it in. Yeah.
So there was no
instead
editor.
Of being like Bungie, instead of being like Bungie where they're like, oh, my beautiful child, let's cut it out because it's, Halo 2. And it could only be 15 hours long. 15 levels, about an hour long each. That's it. But then they're like, you know what? Let's just make the minimum you're going to spend is at least 30 hours on normal difficulty. Speedrunning, I actually tried to watch a speedrun, and like just playing regular is like 11 hours. And I was like, oh my gosh. I spent that much time as a child playing Kingdom Hearts.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, I don't know.
This one I got like 35 hours on.
The thing is, though, is like it seems like everybody's has like stories from their childhood about games that they played forever and ever and ever, and they beat. But honestly, I don't think I beat any games when I was a kid. Like I didn't beat Sonic 2.
The only one I beat actually. I beat Halo, but I played Halo, and I beat Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2.
I just.
Other than that, I never played.
But then again, the difference is I was playing Battletoads. You know what I mean? And
I was a kid in the 2000s. I was like, I'm that weird generation between Gen Z and a millennial because I was born in 95. So they're technically a millennial, but I'm not really a millennial. I'm right there. I'm right there in the middle because I'm definitely not Gen Z and I'm definitely not really a millennial. I'm like, what do they call them? Zennials? That's where I am. I'm right there. So I had the Xbox and a Dreamcast at the same time, So it's like, Dreamcast is old. That's what millennials played. GameCube.
Whoa.
That's a millennial thing. Like Gen Z. Well, besides
millennials played Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo.
Oh, hand-me-downs and stuff?
No, not hand-me-freaking-downs, dude.
Oh, wait.
I'm a millennial, and when I was a kid, okay...
Oh, yes,
I was like, Mommy, Daddy, can I have a Sega Genesis even though I don't understand that actually the company that's going to survive is Nintendo and I probably should get a Super Nintendo because all the cool kids will be playing it even when
longevity.
I'm 3 years old? I was like, can I please that? Because Sonic is like cool and they have blast processing. Total marketing stuff in it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Sega do what Nintendo don't, man.
What Nintendo?
Yeah, straight up. And so, like, freaking...
I don't know why I thought Super Nintendo came out in the 80s. It was like 92.
Yeah,
wasn't
it was in that time frame, man. The 80s was like NES. The original.
Yeah.
And there was no Sega at that point. So yeah, dude.
Gen X doesn't
I was playing Sonic too. But like, get this. I beat Sonic 2 when I was 31 years old using save states. Okay? On an emulator.
Okay.
I still to this day cannot beat that game. Just normal.
That one's a difficult one for sure.
It is, man.
That's like me. I beat Halo 3 a lot when I was a kid because that was 2007. I was like middle school in 2007, so I was competent enough and I knew enough about Halo 1 and 2 to bap around, but I never finished it until like 2012 when I was in high school. So,
well, the world's gonna end. Better finish Halo.
Oh my gosh! Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, man. People were talking about the world ending. Into 2012. No.
Now they're saying it's 2021.
Well, yeah.
They're like they got it wrong. They switched the 2 and the 1.
That's honestly, like that's like one of the biggest things with cults and with people who do stuff like that is that they kind of just are like, well, I made a mistake in the interpretation, so yeah, like let's switch these, and we're all gonna die.
Oh, yeah.
It's really weird. I don't know. I don't even understand like
Doomsday
apocalypse cults and stuff like like doom cults and stuff. It's like really weird. It's like, why do you want the world to end? Like, if the world ends, like we can't there's no pizza anymore, or
oh yeah, no pizza.
Nor there's no your cat standing on your chest and waking you up in the morning anymore.
Oh, but then again, there is no Kingdom Hearts 17.789 to the square root of pi over 2 final remix, the final chapter mix.
Sold.
Oh my
Bring it
God.
on, Satan.
I would be down for Kingdom Hearts 17. I forgot the numbers I just said.
17 pi squared. Square
Oh
root
my
of pi.
gosh. Square root of pi, yeah.
Remix, promos, blah, blah, the
Oh
Galaxy
gosh.
S20 Plus 5G.
So we've only been talking about the negatives, right? And everyone's probably saying, OriginalNick, why are you bashing your fave game?
Yeah, that's true though. Why?
Well, because I can understand. Now that I'm explaining it to someone who hasn't played every single game, doesn't own weird action figures and have keyblades, hanging out in their... I don't have a keyblade. I thought I did. No, I have a backpack for Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, Sarah got that for me. I have the Heartless tattooed on me, so I'm maybe biased. So I can understand looking from the outside in. With Halo, you can at least jump in. If you play Halo 3, you're going to be like, oh, wow, that was a story. You don't have to necessarily play. You're going to understand it's the finality of something. You're going to go, okay, maybe I'll play 1 and 2. That makes sense. Because it's just 1, 2, 3 ODST, and Halo Reach is a prequel. So it makes sense. But then from the outside looking in, I can understand if you didn't play Kingdom Hearts 1, then Chain of Memories, then 2, then 358 over 2 days, then Recoded, then... Oh, man.
Bro, if you need a flow chart to play the games in correct order, there's a problem. But I am going to lay down a challenge for you. I'm throwing the glove at your feet right now, okay? This is the glove. Okay?
Okay.
As somebody who hasn't gone through and done this, convince me to.
Okay. I know you're a music man. You like the music. The boom booms. The music is fantastic. The music gives me chills every single time. It's very well synced up to the battle that happens. So if you love great combat, minus Chain of Memories, the stupid car battle, so the great combat of just smashing X, and it can get complicated. So if you love the challenge of easy to pick up combat where you smash X and it works, and it can get more complicated with triangle combos and magic.
Then I'll play The Witcher 3. Yeah, for sure.
Did you play The Witcher 3? If CD Projekt Red is still alive after this year.
Okay, touche. But continue, please.
So if you like easy to pick up but difficult to master combat, it's the game for you. So music, combat, they come together. if you like Skrillex, you like Skrillex. He became popular again with Kingdom Hearts 3.
That song actually was wonderful. I heard it.
Yeah, that's a bop.
And it like really fit with the action that was going on the screen too. Dubstep is really weird because a lot of people hate on it. But like dubstep, if used correctly with visuals, is phenomenal. And Skrillex obviously is a great dubstep. Look, because everybody I know, man, I know it's like, oh, he's commercial. You know, why aren't you listening to this obscure British guy who's released 2 songs on SoundCloud?
Some weird,
you know. But I'm just saying, like, Skrillex is great. That song is great. But the one thing I've never understood about Kingdom Hearts, talking about music before I stop cutting you off, is why they've never used the song "Heartless." Every single time, like, just like in the night, I hear them talk. The saddest song is ever told. So I lost his soul to a girl so heartless, right? Or a woman so heartless. My point being that it's just like it just made sense. Do a dubstep remix with Skrillex. Have some battle happen with some big guy like that guy at the beginning of the first one. It's the first one, right? Is it the first one? The big guy, that you fight for like 20 hours of the playtime, and he just refuses to die. That one. You can have the Heartless remix with Skrillex playing during that, and you could have it like last as long as Get Low by the Yin Yang Twins, which by the way is 6 minutes long. Didn't know if you do that because like the majority of the song takes place in the first minute and 30 seconds, but they just keep it running because it's supposed to be played in the club. They could do that.
Oh my gosh!
And extend it out for 6 minutes and just have it loop for 27 hours while you beat this one monster.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, that's what I feel about it. Okay,
oh my gosh.
Please continue.
See, that should be a mobile game. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Well, so as a lot of you may know, I don't know if I've said it on Lordcast, but I love voice acting in my spare time. I'm in a couple machinima projects. I've had Chronicler 177 on here, and I've done voice for him. So, links in description. But I love voice acting. I've been in a couple YouTube projects, so I love looking at voiced casts. You can ask Sarah. She's gotten into it now where, like, I'll be like, I know that voice. I swear I know that voice. Whoa, is that Christopher Lee? So if you love an all-star cast, literally everyone who's ever been alive, I swear, is in Kingdom Hearts.
Except Tom Hanks.
Christopher Lee. Yeah, his brother Jim Hanks is actually Woody. It actually is Jim Hanks. So a lot of the original cast members come back. Obviously, what's her name? Jodie from Little Mermaid comes back. I think the original Belle voice. Most of the princesses, I believe, come back. But if you want the big names, Mark Hamill is in the games. Leonard Nimoy, before he passed away, Rest of the Soul was in it.
Rest in peace, buddy.
Yes, I know. He was the original Master Xehanort. He had that beautiful, sultry tone. If you love, I don't know his name, what other else he's been in, but if you ever played Soul Calibur 6, the announcer, he's one of the baddies. Haley Joel Osment, the main guy, spoilers, I See Dead People. Jesse McCartney, Drake Bell. Who else, man? I was just looking up the voice cast today. Star-studded. And with the exception of Kingdom Hearts 3, there have been no paid DLC. But even then, this DLC I'm finding out is actually really worth it because it's adding multiple hours. It's on the level price-wise of like a season pass, but without having the season pass stigma with it. It's a lot of story added. So what you get is what you get. You get 30 to 50 hours per game, minus maybe 3 or 5 over 2 days, because that was on the DS, meant to play in short bursts. But if you play the bigger games, they're all meant to, 30 hours. It's like playing Final Fantasy. You're going to be sitting there for a while, jamming out. That's my main ones. That's my main thingies, is good music that matches up really well with the simple combat that you can master, the star-studded cast, and no paid DLC until the very last game that came out.
And don't forget that
Winnie
your
the
favorite
Pooh.
Disney characters, including Winnie the Pooh,
are all your favorite Disney characters and your favorite Final Fantasy characters.
That's actually another thing too
will be
that
hanging out.
doesn't help me very much. I talked about this on Beetlecast not too long ago, but I actually do not like Disney movies. Um,
Oh, do you like Universal more?
I mean, I'm not one of those dudes who's like ride or die on any specific brand. I do like Universal because of Jurassic Park,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they Disney's just never been my thing. So, like
yeah. I was raised on Disney though, so I guess I nostalgia goggles for Disney too.
well, I was too. I had the whole collection growing up.
Oh, okay,
It's just
okay.
like it was like there's some Disney movies I really enjoy. Toy
Yeah.
Story is a great example. I love Toy Story
Oh,
or
yeah,
Fantasia. Both of them I think are wonderful.
yeah.
But besides that, like most of Disney's early stuff, especially, was taking other cultures, fairy tales, and Americanizing them, and then releasing it, and that kind of stuff. I'm not too big a fan of.
Okay.
There are some so the thing that pissed me off about a lot of Disney stuff. Take Aladdin,
What's that?
okay?
Yeah, I don't like Aladdin.
Well, Aladdin's fine, but the problem is
He sounds like he's from California.
yeah, that's definitely a problem. But the other problem is they always had to ram in the mushy gushy love stuff.
Yeah,
And
the original Grimm's tales I know definitely aren't so mushy gushy.
that's what I prefer.
Oh, maybe gushy, but
Yeah,
gushy in the
the
blood way.
blood, yeah, because they were pretty vicious. But I
Yeah.
like that. I like stuff that doesn't like shoehorn in like mushy gushy love stuff. And Disney always seemed to like be morally obligated to do that, like they just had to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I never got too deep into Disney. So like, when I see Disney characters on a video game, besides Pooh's my boy.
Yeah, he's adorable.
You know what?
I love
You
him.
notice anything about Pooh that's interesting to our and relevant to our conversation?
He's not in a relationship.
No mushy gushy love stuff when it comes to Pooh.
Yeah.
Okay, unless you count Christopher
just all
Robins, who
friendly.
they're very sweet to each other, of course. But that's
Yeah.
that's like a
But that's a yeah.
It's a bromance.
It's like a best friend.
the
Yeah.
bros. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see them in the MCU teaming up. You know, they are the Winter Soldier and Falcon.
Straight up, man. So like I mean Pooh's my boy, so I'm down with that, and I really do like Toy Story. Although they later introduced the Bo Peep stuff, but I let them get away with that because that was only like 12 seconds of screen time. But for the most part, I don't like stuff like that. So, it's that's why I've never been too deep into Disney. It's because like
Yeah.
I just don't need to have like this, you know. It's probably sounds weird coming from a guy who's like happily married and very much in love and that stuff. But I don't need that shit shoved in my face every day. And so yeah, don't like Disney. Don't hate them, but I just anyway. So the Disney thing
Yeah.
never really was much of a selling point to me because of that.
Okay.
And so it's like cool, and it's cool that they did a mashup, and it's cool that you can like hang out with Hercules, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's really neat. Or Mulan, that's really cool. But for the most part, and then I also don't forget. I said early in this conversation, I don't know if we were on the mic or not at this point, but I actually just started my first Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, I think you did. You started. I don't remember if it was. I think it was on Mike.
Well, if it wasn't, guys, I just started my first Final Fantasy game. So I don't know too much about Final Fantasy, and
Yeah, at least with Final Fantasy, that you don't have to play all of them because Final Fantasy 1 and 2, they're just the basis. 3 is its own story. 4 is its own story. 5 and 6 are their own stories. They're none of them are really connected. The only ones that are connected are if it has like a -2, and I think like 6 has a sequel. But other than that, like if you want to jump in at like Final Fantasy 13, you don't have to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 after yours, 6 the before 4. You don't have to play Final Fantasy 7, 8. You don't have to play any of them. You just play 13. I think it's 13-2. So you play 13 and 13-2, and that's your story.
See, if only Kingdom Hearts could adopt the
Only
Final
Kingdom
Fantasy thing, and kind of.
Get a new rotation every time. Just disconnected. Roxas, Axel, and Shion, it's their own thing. Sora, Donald, Goofy, it's their own game.
I'm telling you, I'd play it. Like, that's the thing. So,
Yeah.
because like it's like the moment where I realized that like we're talking about a simulation, and it's like the Matrix minus Morpheus because Disney hasn't bought the Matrix yet.
They have like a Morpheus type character though.
Yeah, and it's like, dude.
Yeah, Diz. Darkness in Zero. That's Christopher Lee.
And what the heck is Yzna doing
there's
in
two
here?
simu-
And like
there's-
Mickey's like got a
Yen Sid.
It's ridiculous. So, I do not think that I will be, despite your compelling arguments, I do not think that I will be playing the blocky Picasso version of Chain of Memories anytime soon. But at the same time, I do respect the fact that the games exist. I respect the fact that people worked on them. I suspect the fact that they can be loosely called games. I suspect I respect the fact that they were kind enough to make it so that you can mash one button and do combat, so you don't really have to think about it too much. That's really cool. And I definitely, after this conversation, have to conclude that the Kingdom Hearts games are indeed games.
There's something, all right. Well, you want to wrap this up anytime soon, or you want to keep going? I mean, I can keep going forever. Honestly,
Let's wrap it up. Let's do a part 2 dash
right.
over 12:32,
Sure.
dude. Okay, seriously,
Oh my God.
seriously, the second episode. Let's do that. Let's like make it some long,
I'll
weird,
call it,
convoluted name.
Yeah.
Let's because I got other stuff I got to do tonight. Unfortunately, because you know that I would love to hang out all night talking to you about this. But yeah, let's do that. Let's have a sequel. But they have to listen to an episode of Beetlecast to understand what we're talking.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. I'll come on Beetlecast, and we have to talk about something. Only mentioning Kingdom Hearts for a second, but it has to tie in perfectly. So whenever they go, it'll be Kingdom Hearts 1, and then I'll record something after it, and then re-upload it as Kingdom Hearts 1.5 final mix. Then it'll go on to Beetlecast, and then it'll come back, and it'll say Kingdom Hearts 2.5 final mix, and everyone goes, "Whoa, what the heck? Why do I have to go to another channel to get some weird reference to come back to this one?" So that's what we're gonna do.
And then at the end,
that's what we have to
the
do.
listener will sit back and they'll say, "Wow, that was a podcast."
Yeah. At the end of the day, that was 3 episodes of 2 different podcasts. I can at least say that. So we went over the talking points pretty much. The last ones, I put all my favorite stuff in one, into the compelling arguments. One of them in there that I do love to talk about is, so in the middle I had like a transition, but we went through in a different order, and that's totally okay. But in the middle it says I might be biased. Like I said before, I do have a heartless symbol tattooed on me. I'm wearing my Kingdom Heart PJs. And I have just about every single version of the game on every single console that has been on. So for the PlayStation 2, I have Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. For the DS, I have Recoded and 3x8 over 2 days. I have Kingdom Hearts, the 1.5 and 2.5 remixes for PS3, the 1.5, 2.5, and then 2.8 for the PS4. And then for the PS4, I have the Japanese versions of 1.5 and 2.5 remixes. So I might possibly be biased. Just letting you all know, I might be biased.
All right. Before we get out of here, Mr. I'm biased, I have another challenge for you, and then we'll wrap this up until the next one.
Yes.
I want you to tell me the plot of Kingdom Hearts in one sentence.
Okay. A boy goes on a mission to keep the world from falling into complete darkness. That's all I can really come up with without trying to add too much more.
I think that's actually very succinct. That's probably the best description I've ever heard of it. Well done. Well done. Sounds very straightforward when you say it like that.
Yeah.
Because my sentence would have been Square Enix and Disney throws everything, including the kitchen sink, at a wall.
Yeah, they do. Ratatouille came in Kingdom Hearts 3. And you can make recipes. So now there's a cooking mini game.
Oh my god, that's terrible. Okay.
I love Ratatouille. That's a good one, though.
Oh yeah,
that's a good
Oh,
one.
it is definitely a good one.
Oh, different episode. Different
Yeah.
episode.
Let's
Too many segues already.
for sure. Okay, so yeah, you wanna do the honors, my friend?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Lorecast. The theme song was written by the lovely Devin of Beetle Milk. You can hear him at Beetlecast. I'll leave the link in the description for the show notes of the audio version and in the description of the YouTube version. I guess we're doing a part 2, it sounds like, and I'm down for it.
Yes.
This would not be possible without you listening. Would be possible without Devin for the fantastic theme song, Chronicle177 for giving me fantastic advice, and for Podcast Evolved being the inspirations to even be a podcast. We will see you all in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to Lorecast, and we'll see you then.
Later days.
Bye.